Welcome to This is Douglas County. I'm your host, Rick Martin. Douglas County continues to play an important role in the film industry for several productions of television shows and movies. One of the most popular locations was the Douglas County Old Jail. But with the city of Douglasville purchasing that property, what will happen next? To find out and learn more about our tourism department, joining me in the studio is Douglas County Tourism Director, Colin Cash. Ms. Cash, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks, Rick.
Well, I'm pleased to have you back on our show. Lots have been happening with your department. Update us, please, if you can, for our viewers.
Sure. Well, I am the director of the Douglas County Tourism Office, and I have also taken on the role of the film office as well. And since I was here last time, we have added a second employee to my department of formerly one.
So you're growing.
Yes, we are growing.
Oh, that's great. That's great. What's her name?
Her name is Evany Hammonds.
Okay, awesome. Well, we look forward to meeting her or seeing her around.
Absolutely. You will definitely be seeing her around.
As a matter of fact, I believe I had a chance to visit with your team as we attended a tour, the last tour of the old jail.
Yes, we did a final farewell tour of the old jail, and Evany and I both were on hand, and we filmed some of that so we can use that on our Facebook pages and just for history, because the old jail is going to be torn down.
You know, speaking of film, and even though the old jail is going to be torn down and new renovations come upon it by the city, is the film industry still going to be a large part of the tourism department?
Absolutely, Rick. Even though the jail was a place that was used for filming many times, we also have filming a lot of other places around the county. For example, Sweetwater Creek State Park, they get a lot of filming. They've had some of the Avengers movies. They've had some really cool things there.
Wow.
Some of our county parks, we've had some things going on at Deer Lick Park and Boundary Waters. And then we've had some filming on private property, places around the city and the county, restaurants, several restaurants, the old newspaper office. And so there's a lot going on other than just the jail.
So you can safely say that growing, the film industry growing, there's still going to be a lot of filming in Douglas County.
Oh, absolutely. I get probably a minimum of 2 calls a week from location scouts, and right now it may just be the season, but they're looking for all kinds of very specific outdoor scenes.
Wow.
I had a call a couple of weeks ago, and they were looking for, and I quote, a large hill or cliff where we can push over a car.
Wow.
And yeah, so they're always looking for some sort of, unique, and they come out here to us, and I try to help them find what they need.
And even in the outdoor, I think I had the chance to experience a location scout asked me about shooting in a courthouse, and I turned them over to you.
Yes, absolutely. I am the point of contact for all filming on county property, and even if someone is not looking to film on county property, I'm still sort of that first point of contact. If they need something that happens to be on city property or private property, I'm still like the liaison to make sure they get to the proper person. So.
And even when it comes to maybe in interstate roadways such as I-20 that GDOT is in control, you are still the point to
for the county,
for
right.
the county to navigate.
I don't get
all of
to
that.
make all the final decisions, but I do point people in the right direction, make sure they understand when there are permits that have to be filed and which departments they need to talk to and that sort of thing. So kind of a one-stop shop, and I think that's one of the reasons that we are so popular with the location scouts is because they don't have to run around chasing their tails trying to figure out who do I need to talk to. They call or email me, and I put them in the right direction.
Well, that's great branding on your part, so I applaud you on that.
We try. Thank you.
Awesome. Speaking of shows, what productions of shows and movies were done at the old jail that people would be familiar with?
Wow. A lot, we'll say that. Back several years ago, before I actually took over, there was a series on Investigative Discovery Channel called Swamp Murders.
Yes.
A lot of things were filmed there, and
Really?
yeah, people are like, we don't have swamps, but it's the interior shots, the actual jail
Yeah.
shots. A lot of those were filmed
I
there.
didn't know that.
A lot of cable shows. We had some rap videos, of course, but some of the more famous films. Logan Lucky is a film that a couple of years ago with an all-star cast: Channing Tatum and Daniel Craig and Adam Driver. Those guys were here for several months filming that. Recently, we had The Mule, which is Clint Eastwood, and he both directed and starred in the movie. And so Mr. Eastwood and Bradley Cooper, Lawrence Fishburne, and those are just the ones that I actually got to see and be like up close with. We have a film called Just Mercy with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. And I saw when, as a matter of fact, they filmed that really actually parts of it near my home because they closed off one of the roads by Sweetwater Creek State Park and put up a bulletin board for that time period. And people were trying to figure out what's going on.
Right, and that's the thing. A lot of times when they come into town, they keep it very quiet. And I'll know the name of the production company. Sometimes I don't even know the actual name of the movie or the TV show. Wow. And most of the time I don't even know who the stars are. Every now and then I do get the opportunity to be there or to hear, but they really keep things, very undercover. And I think that's also one of the reasons that Douglas County is very popular in filming, is because we do try to keep that privacy, and they don't have to fight off mobs and when they're trying to film. And I think that that's made us another reason why we're a good place they like to come and film, because we respect their privacy and we work with the companies.
Hollywood of the South, as we know.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. When taking the tour of the old county jail, it was really a very authentic place to film.
Okay.
Do you think it'll be missed?
It will be missed by some of the production companies, definitely. That's one of the reasons that it's been so popular. And we've allowed them to come in and make some changes, and we've kept some of those things. For example, there weren't bars on a lot of the cell doors. That's just not how it was done, but that's what you automatically think of. That's the iconic idea. So some of the production companies came in and they took down the actual doors and put up the iron bars, and they painted some things. And if we felt like those things would be able to be used in the future and other productions would like them, we'd let them stay. If otherwise, the companies were required to put it back exactly like they found it. So while there have been some production companies that have called me kind of almost crying, in the long run, I think that it's going to be better for our community for long-term sustainability to not have the jail there. It's, from the outside, it's kind of an eyesore, and I think that for downtown, the beautification of downtown, it's going to be better. And, the movie people can always, make up a set. They don't have to actually be at the old jail.
Well, once they, I know the city of Douglasville has their 10-year plan of beautification project, amphitheater, and some businesses to come along with that. But what other locations could the film industry use for production in the county?
Well, we still have a lot of filming done at the old courthouse. We occasionally can use the current courthouse. That's a little more difficult because we have to make sure that, we're not conflicting with any court schedules or anything like that. Those are the two major ones. And then, like I said, we've had some filming at Deer Lick Park. We've been filmed in the gym. And we've had a lot of requests to look at Boundary Waters, although it's mostly been used as a base camp. It's where they come in and park all their stuff, but we've had, and that's the thing, you get a lot of requests and a lot of location scouts that come in and look at your stuff over and over, and sometimes they use it, sometimes they don't. Douglas County High School has been used a good bit.
That's where they film, is it Supergirl? Stargirl.
Stargirl, yeah. Stargirl.
I've seen him do a lot of filming
Yeah.
there.
And we've got MacGyver going on in town right now too. They're doing a lot of filming, and they film a lot on county roads. So I have to work with them and make sure that they get all the stuff they need from our county DOT.
So they don't shut school down when they're filming. How do you?
They usually film in the summer.
Okay.
And if they do film during school, they're in designated areas. So they would keep the students in like one area and maybe film in the gym, or or they film after hours or on the weekends. So.
Gotcha. So tell us, for our viewers, so they can understand,
Sure.
how does the tourism department benefit from all of this?
It's all about money. If people are coming in to visit, they're dropping new money here. So it's not like the people that already live here that are spending their money and the money's just going around and around in the community. These are people bringing in fresh money. If they stay at our hotels, they pay sales tax, of course, which includes the SPLOST, the Special Local Option Sales Tax. And then they pay additional city and county taxes, so that goes into our our tax revenues, and it's not coming out of the local folks' pockets. So that's the main thing, is staying in the hotels. But just being around the community, these visitors eat in our restaurants, they buy things in our shops, they buy gas, and then they go home. So they're not putting a burden then on our schools and our services. Not saying that newcomers are a burden, but these people are coming in, dropping money, and making an economic impact, and then they're leaving and going on somewhere else.
Is there anything new coming from the department you can share with us?
I have got, Ebony and I, have a lot of things that we're working on. We'll be making some big announcements later on, but we have our film trail that we're working on, beefing it up, really making it more of an interactive experience. We've added a couple of new locations for the film trail, and we are working on beefing up our butterfly trail. We haven't really talked about other tourism product, but we do have a butterfly trail.
Oh, cool.
And we're looking at expanding that.
Okay.
And then we've got a couple of other trails that we're working on to roll out in 2020. So that'll be something else I can come talk about later.
Okay, I look forward to that. Definitely want you to return. I noticed on your jacket there, Explore Outside the Lines, Douglas County, Georgia. How are citizens and visitors encouraged to explore outside the lines?
Well, the whole outside the lines tag kind of comes, it's sort of twofold. We are outside of the perimeter, so we're a little outside the lines of Atlanta. And also it's kind of like thinking outside the box. So I want you to get outside the lines. A lot of people would probably never think about a butterfly trail or even the film trail here in their own home. So for the local people, it's just being aware, thinking outside the box and thinking, well, what else is there to do in my community? Surprisingly, Sweetwater Creek State Park is the most visited park in the state, but I constantly run into local people who say they've never been there. Or someone was telling me the other day they stopped at a convenience store on the Thornton Road area and asked something about the park, and the person there was like, I've lived here my whole life and I've never been to that park. So I think it's just reminding the locals that there are things to do if they kind of get out of their normal routine.
And there's even, what people don't know, and you're absolutely right, that there's overnight availability. Overnight, people can stay overnight at the park.
Yes, they have the yurts now. Those are really great.
Yes.
And we have villas out at Foxhall Resort. Of course, we have plenty of hotel rooms and nicer hotels. We've got the hotels in the county that are the newest and the most updated are the ones up in the Thornton Road area.
And I remember you were so busy working because we just had the Super Bowl in Atlanta.
Yes.
And those hotel rooms in Douglas County were booked pretty fast.
They do. They book up when anything's going on in Atlanta and those hotel rooms fill up quick. It's natural for people to look just a tiny bit west. I mean, we're so close to the airport and so close to downtown Atlanta. We're really in a perfect location. And we sort of say that we are your gateway to your Atlanta getaway.
Nice, nice. Repeat that for me again, please.
The gateway to your Atlanta getaway.
Beautiful, beautiful. Way to brand and promote Douglas County. What are some other places people can visit in Douglas County besides like the #1 spot of Sweetwater Creek State Park?
Well, I think a lot of people do not realize that the Pine Mountain Gold Museum, which is in the city of Villa Rica, is actually in Douglas County. So that is a great location. And I know a lot of people have never been there, and they really need to check that out.
Wow.
Our Clinton Nature Preserve out in the Winston area. There's a lot going on out there that folks don't know about too.
Really?
Boundary Waters, it's not just the aquatic center. They have great trails out there. They have the disc golf. There's a lot, and of course Foxhall Resort has trails. They have equestrian trails and canoeing and kayaking and a lot of the stuff that's also at Sweetwater.
Yeah.
But then some interesting stuff. You can go out there and do skeet shooting, and they even have those little hover boats.
Wow. That is awesome. With all the stuff, that complete list you just provided, you got to tell me. I want to know, what is your favorite place to visit in Douglas County?
Oh, wow. That's putting me on the spot.
Yes, on the spot.
On the spot.
You're the director.
Yes,
You're in
true.
charge.
I am.
You got to tell me, what's your favorite place?
Okay, this is very much off the beaten path and very much a lot of people do not know about, but Champ's Clock Shop and Museum. So it's not just a clock shop, it's also a museum.
Yeah.
And it's such a cliche to say it's a hidden secret or a hidden jewel, but it really is. There are clocks in there from all over the world. There's the world's largest cuckoo clock, and all kinds of really cool stuff. And I've taken some people that work at the state visitor information centers and showed this off along with a lot of other things, and they're amazed. I mean, they love Sweetwater, they love our state parks, they love our other stuff, but when they see those clocks, they just get really excited. So I think that one's kind of my favorite.
Wow. Great answer. Thank you. Tell me a little bit for our viewers who are not familiar. I hear there's some news dealing with Stranger Things tour coming to Douglas County.
They're the Atlanta.
So for
Sure.
those who aren't familiar with
Gotcha.
Stranger Things, I want you to talk about that and then talk about the tour.
Okay, so of course Stranger Things is the Netflix series that's very, very popular. A lot of it has been filmed in Douglas County. The very first episode was filmed, part of it, at Tiffany's Kitchen up on Lee Road. And then there's, over the course of the seasons, we've had filming in downtown Douglasville. We've had filming all around. So it's very, very popular. And of course, it's on our film trail. But the Atlanta movie tours, they've been very successful with their Walking Dead tours. So they've started a Upside Down tour, which if you watch Stranger Things, you'll know what that means. And it includes a trip out here to Douglas County. So they're cross-promoting for us with our film trail and bringing those folks, starting them in Atlanta, going around and showing some of the locations, and then coming out here and visiting the places in our county where Stranger Things has been filmed.
That is huge.
It is huge. It really is.
That's huge.
Yeah, we're very excited about
Congratulations.
that. Thank you.
Definitely. I look forward to getting information for our department to put a press release out on that.
Yes, and perhaps we could do a private tour for some of our elected officials and some other folks in the community. Maybe we'd get them to do a whole private tour.
Absolutely. That's something I think they could look forward to. Is there anything else you want to share about your department?
Well, I do want to say that when it was just been me for several years now, and I worked really hard and tried to do as much as I could, but with the addition of our tourism coordinator, Ebony, we have really branched into social media. I just didn't have a lot of time or a lot of expertise, and she has really taken that to another level with our Facebook and our Instagram. We're making huge additions and upgrades to our tourism website, and we're just really getting into that electronic kind of world where before I really just didn't have, the time and the staff to do that. So that's a big leap forward. We're getting tons of likes, tons of shares. Our hotels are seeing, room nights booked from posts that Ebony is making, and we're just really excited about that. We feel like we've are getting more of where we need to be as a Metro Atlanta tourism office.
That is awesome to hear, and I know the growth of your department has grown over into my department as well.
Yes,
with
we do.
Communications and community relations.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, this gives me a great opportunity to thank you
Good.
for welcoming me to the county in my role in helping, raise the profile of Douglas County
Absolutely.
in such a positive way.
Yeah, well, ultimately, that's what both our departments are for, is raising that positive profile of Douglas County.
Colin Cash, Ms. Colin Cash, such a pleasure to have you back again today
Thank
to really
you.
help us share how your department is growing and how successful it's becoming. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rick. It was my pleasure.